Yes, sir.
And this is Steven Cedric talking to the band. And I'm
Hey, hey,
what's happening, Cedric?
hey, what's happening, y'all?
Man, we rocking with the legendary
Man,
Frank
yeah.
McComb.
What
What's
it
up,
is? What's going down, y'all?
Man,
Hey,
man, bro. It is an honor to have you on the show, my man.
Oh man, it's an honor to be here, bro.
Man, how you been doing, man? What's been happening?
Man, I'm alive. I was like I tell everybody, I'm alive, well, healthy, and fully vaxxed. I'm good. I'm ready to travel. I'm ready to get on the road. I'm ready to work.
I know, man.
I think I ate what I am. I'm ready, man. Ready to go.
That's good, bro. That's looking good too, man.
Oh, thank you, man. I'm trying. The camera got me looking like Santa Claus and things with the red. And I don't really look like that too, man. It's the camera and the lighting and stuff. But I try to look as long as I'm alive. That's
there
all.
You go. There you go. There you go.
I tell people all the time, I prefer the gray over the grave. I'm good.
There you go. I know that's right. I know that's right, bro.
Amen and amen.
Amen. Man, we got a mutual friend, man. That man spoke so highly of you, man. Najee.
Oh, Najee.
Yeah, man.
Listen, if you ever talk to Najee again, call him Big Brother Almighty, and he'll know you've been talking to me. Big Brother Almighty. Yeah, that's my dude, man. It's like my big brother. Love Najee.
Once he met, man, he was talking about it, man. We gotta get Frank on the show.
Oh man, I'm so honored, man. Najee is my man. That's my dude, man. That's my big brother. Yes, sir.
Hey, Frank.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
yeah,
man.
man.
Have you been working on anything, man, during this time where we all been, locked in, and what's been happening with you? What's new?
Yeah, I've been working on something. Me. I've been working on me. Yeah, man. I'll tell you, man. I had to do some self-evaluation. That's that food I just ate. I just ate good, man. I told y'all before we started, man. I'm like, it's just self-evaluation, man. I've been working on me, like, trying to get more balance in my day, and when I do sit down at the keys to do anything, it's it's either a session for somebody or recording something for my son because he's a producer. Y'all look up the name Skinny Kid Frank. That's my son. Instagram and SoundCloud and all of that. He's no joke. So I'm doing tracks for him and just taking it one day at a time. I put out a couple of compilations. I put out a Christmas single last year called Christmas 2020. The only gift I want this year is peace. That's what I did. And it's crazy because I put that song out and somebody reached out to me from Australia and was like, the song is only going to really be good just for this time. And you should rewrite the lyrics, for something, so it'll last longer. I didn't write it for that. I wrote it strictly for Christmas 2020. And if anybody plays it this year, it's going to be reminiscent and just to remember all that we've lost so we can be conscious of everything we just went through. That's why I wrote it for that specific time period, And, I didn't write it for it to be a big hit, like that, nothing like that. I wrote it because that's where my heart was during that time. The only gift I want this year is peace, and I want that every year. It doesn't have to be Christmas 2020, Christmas 2021,
Right.
I don't care. Right. Just that's what I want. It's a peace, man.
I know that's right.
I did that. I've been growing my aloe vera plants, just enjoying road trips and it's a great thing when you have ownership over your masters. You can do what you want with them. You know, I was doing online performances with the actual tracks from my records because I own the masters and I own the sessions. So I pulled out some of those songs and I took the lead vocal off, kept the backing vocals, just made TV tracks basically out of certain songs. And I was performing live on Facebook. And I have these shows called The Living Room, where it's just me and a keyboard in the audience. And I invite people to come up and share the stage with me, you know. And what I've decided to do now that things are opening, is I'm actually doing my living room show fused with my Facebook Live. So it's basically my Facebook Live, but not live on Facebook. So that's what I'm doing. I'm actually performing to my own tracks and enjoying, just having fun with the audience. So what they saw live on Facebook, they get to see in person. And a lot of people were talking about my Facebook Live because my sound was really, really good. I sat back and watched everybody else flub. So I figured, let me make sure I get mine right. And every Friday night, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I was online on Facebook playing, and I had about 5,000-6,000 people every Friday night for an hour. So I figured, you know, let me do my living room show and my Facebook Live together live, just not live on Facebook, but in person. And I still invite people to come up and jam with me in the whole nine. So that's what Frank McComb is doing now. I mean, I'll do shows with my bands. Don't get me wrong. I have great musicians that play with me around the world, but I'm still booking shows for that. But I'm definitely booking more of my personal, intimate living room Facebook Live type shows. That's what I want to do. I just want to engage with my audience. So that's my plan for getting on the road. But for COVID, man, I've been chilling and eating, just trying to take better care of myself. My wife, we don't even go to the restaurants anymore. We'll go out to the restaurant. We'll taste something one time. Well, she'll taste something one time. Now, when I taste something one time, it's a different effect. I eat.
Yeah, right. I hear you.
When she tastes something one time, she come home and cook it. That's how good she is. Just as gifted, gifted I am, for just as gifted as I am in music, she's just as gifted in that kitchen. That's her gift. And man, she puts it down. That's why I was so sluggish before coming on talking to y'all.
Man, you are blessed, man. Good grief. You are blessed, bro.
Oh, yes. Amen.
Wow.
Yes. I am truly blessed. Truly blessed. Yes. Amen. Yes.
Yeah. Frank, I want to take you back a little bit, man, and just kind of have this conversation. Back during the time, when you were coming in this music game and really, making your footprint.
Wait, before you go any further.
Okay.
Game. That's the key word. People always say the music business. I've always called it a game. Once I went independent, a music game. So it's funny you say that because that's what I call it. It's a game. Know how to play it. Make your own rules, man.
Yes, sir.
Make your own rules that fit you, and stop looking at what everybody else is going through, because you can't handle what they're going through. They can't handle what you're going through. So stay in your lane, play your game to your rules, your way. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had to put that out there. But music game. You're absolutely right. Music game. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, just your mindset during the time when you were collaborating with, all these great legendary artists, Frankie Beverly and Mays, George Duke. I mean, the list goes on and on. Take us. What was that mindset like for you during that time? What was it like?
Man, just a young kid ready to absorb everything he can absorb. Man, just to grow up listening to all of these people, and then to work with them or work for them, either one, because I've done both. And then to turn around and be friends with them. It says a lot, man.
That's crazy.
It says a lot. I will say there's been good and there has been bad. The good that I got out of it, and I won't say names because I don't like to exploit. I like to give the testimony. The good that I got out of it, let's say the good first. The good that I got out of it was I learned a lot. When it comes to the good, I'll say names. George Duke, Benson, those guys are like, and Najee, they're like family to me. And I could get on the phone with these guys. Of course, not Duke anymore, but I could get on the phone with him. And I could talk to Duke. I could call him at 2:00 in the morning. Yo, I got this agreement, right? This paperwork right here. Can you help me through it? He will talk you through it and then say, don't call me before 1:00 tomorrow afternoon. Talk you right through it, help you out the whole nine. Duke was that kind of guy for me, man. I miss him dearly. But Duke was like that. He was that kind of guy that you could call I could call. I don't know about everybody else, but he was like a godfather to all of us musicians, especially those of us that work with him. But me personally, I could call him, I could talk to him about pretty much anything, and he could walk me through it. And he was that guy, man. With Prince taught me always keep a difference between a contract and an agreement. Always call it an agreement because you know what you're getting into. If you got locked up into it, then it was a contract. If you can't get out because they conned you. And then he went on record to say this, but yeah, he did tell me this. We were sitting down at one of the house parties, 3121, and he was just breaking all kind of knowledge down to me. This FM exists because of him. He told me, he said, when you're able to do it, you need to brand yourself. You know, you need to find a logo like he did with the symbol. Create something so that when people see that, they know it's you without even seeing your face, without even knowing that it's your name. They see that logo and that's you. And he was right, because every time we see that symbol, we know it's him. You know, anytime you see Pepsi Cola, Hoover vacuum cleaners, Eureka, Cork keyboards, QSC, anytime you see a logo, you know it's them.
Yes.
You know it's them. Every time you see Mercedes, you know it's the car. You know, so I had to do the same thing. So this FM, I wrote my signature out at least 1,000 times till I found the right one. And this is it. Now, I'm going to tell y'all little sick people out there, don't go taking my logo and putting it on something saying that I signed something, because it's not going to work. There's a certain way I sign my signature that you will never get on a hat. Then I know it's me. You won't know it's me. So let's not be sick out there, because COVID didn't help a lot of people get better. It helped. Let me rephrase that. COVID helped some people get better at being bad.
It
made some people worse.
You're right.
It made some people worse. It made them better at being scandalous.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody was healed from COVID. Not everybody's mental state was healed, or their issues were healed. You know, there were a lot of people that grew, you know, coming out of COVID, but there are a lot of people that got worse, because you can't tell me, I ain't trying to slight nobody, but these restaurants done hiked up, bro.
Man.
I mean, these restaurants so damn high, it's ridiculous. I don't want to go eat now.
Food, and everything.
And the food ain't what it used to be for you to be hiking up them prices.
You ain't lying.
Yeah. I thought it was just me, but dude, no, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
There was a time, there's one restaurant I used to go to, man, I get a meal for myself, it's like $20. Now if it's a meal for me, it's 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And we ain't talking alcohol. We just talking food, bro. Right. Good thing I don't eat a lot no more. My wife, though, she never ate a lot, so we can split a meal. And splitting the meal is still like paying for two people. It's crazy. Yeah, man. It's some of these people, some of these companies got a little greedy, a little grubby. And I guess they figure we ain't never going out of business no more. We ain't never going broke. Yeah, we're gonna get all we can now.
Get it all now.
Get it all while we can.
Right.
But
yeah,
Frank,
man. So
you know, like when you was working with Frank McComb and Mays,
yeah.
I mean, man, what did that feel like for you during that time?
Dude, man, let me tell you. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was talking, look at me. I done took off and went left with the conversation. It's the food, man. I'm telling you, it's the food. It's the food. Good food do that to you.
Right.
Yeah, so but it was great working with them. The pros. The good is the fact that you learn I learned so much from being with these people. Even just watching, not even talking to them, but seeing how they dealt with the pressures of being celebrities. So the pressure of being the legendary celebrities they were. Now, the bad side of that is a few artists I worked with showed me what not to do. Yeah. You know, let me just put it to you this way. You play a concert, right? Sold out. You know you're going to have people that want to shake your hands, buy your CDs and sign an autograph. You know, they're going to want your autograph on a CD after the show. Well, don't play the last note, go back your bag and run through the kitchen and leave the people standing out there. Yeah. These are people that made you, man. You know, and I said, I will do my best to never get to that point. If there's a song that became a hit and they're going to want to hear that hit. If it takes for me to flip that song and do different versions of it in concert to get through it, so be it. Right. Because at the end of the day, being a recording artist, a public figure, that's not just for you. It's for the people as well. It's really for the people, because you're a public figure. You're not a self figure. You're a public figure. So why not cater to the public that made you who you are? You know, you're a public figure. You don't just do the show, get the money and take off and leading people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's things
Dropping
like
them
that.
nuggets. Yeah.
It's things like that that I learned, and I don't ever plan to release anything that I would hate. I've been there, done that, because I was signed to a label. I won't mention this particular label. It was an indie label. And they thought they had a modern day slave. And I went through so much mess making my sophomore album, which released with them. And they were the absolute worst. And I didn't have the creative control on this album that I wanted, because my management got in bed with the label, and they both became a team within a team to manipulate me to do things in favor of the company. Now that's a different situation. Now there's some things on that record I will never perform ever, because of what I went through in making it. And I don't want to go back to that dark place, but it's not like those songs became big hits either. So yeah, but there were a couple tunes that I did on that album that I'll still play, because I wrote them, for one, and they were songs that people did like, but I turned them into popular songs because I flipped them. Yeah, I'm the kind of guy, I write the songs, and if another producer comes in, which is what happened for this album, it's like I bring my kids to the babysitter. I love the songs. I love my kids, but I hate the way you dressed them when I brought them to you. That's the best way I can put it. You dressed my kids the way I wouldn't. You produced this the way I wouldn't like. And every time I would have a voice in it, here you come change it. And here comes the management company, and I'm like, you guys don't understand. I've established something already. You want me to erase love stories, act like it never existed. My first album. You want me to erase all of it and act like I'm a whole new artist all over again? No, that's not going to work. You need to pick up where Columbia Records left off. And they didn't want to hear me. So it was a big battle between me, my management, and my record company. And then whose side are you on? Management, whose side are you on? So yeah, I went through that. So yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. You asked to be released from 2 record companies, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that it paid off, and would you recommend that to any other artist?
I definitely feel it paid off. If you don't have favor with the president of the company, you ain't got favor with the company. It's just that simple. If there are a lot of changes happening at the company, and you do have favor with the head of the label, but he's so overwhelmed with other things happening at the label that you've forgotten about, you need to get out of there. And in my case, being in Motown, the late Gerald Busby, he had a meeting with me. He and Steve McKeever had a meeting with me. Steve McKeever, for those that don't know, is the guy that headed. He was the brainchild behind Mojazz Records, and he was the brainchild behind Hidden Beach. He signed Jill Scott to Hidden Beach Records years later. Yeah, years down the line. Steve McKeever and Gerald Busby was so good to me in regards to this subject, man. They had a meeting with me and said, listen, you've been here a couple years and things just haven't been fair to your favor. There's some changes here happening at the company, and we want to know if you want to stay or go. Now, mind you, I'd been with this label, I'm guessing 2 years, almost 3, something like that, and never got a record out. I did one project that never saw the light of day with one producer. Then I did another project with a different producer in 95 that saw the light of day as a bootleg. Now, we never got the record out. The only thing that I got out on Motown was 2 songs on the Mojazz Christmas album that came out around 84, and 2 songs on Robert Townsend's Meteor Man soundtrack, the movie Meteor Man. And it was just so much going on politically that I got lost in the shuffle. Polygram bought Motown for millions of dollars. And little guys like me, Jay Spencer, Colin England, probably some names you never even heard of, we got lost in the shuffle. Norman Brown was able to get out. He was able to get a record out at the time, and he was carrying Mojazz. And I was supposed to come out not long after him, but they just could not get it together. Between me and the sorry management I had at the time, and then what was going on at the label, was just too many political issues got in the way. So I told them I wanted to go, and by the grace of God, they just let me go. Gave me my freedom.
Did they drop the ball? Wow.
Man, yeah.
Good grief.
But you know what? It was to my good. I would have to say, looking back maturely, it was to my good. It was for my good, because I was still learning who Frank McComb was. I mean, the thing I can say is that they never gave me the opportunity to just go in the studio and see where I was musically, see where I was psychologically, and then wherever I was lacking, they could bring in somebody to assist me. And no different than what they did for Stevie back in the early 70s.
Yeah.
You got Malcolm Cecil, the late Malcolm Cecil, and Bob Margoloff. They came in there and they helped Stevie shape his sound. So I wasn't given that opportunity. And then, and I wasn't given the opportunity for videos, any radio airplay, no singles release for Columbia or Motown. So you see a lot of cats today that are independent artists, but they had some kind of mainstream push to get them started. So I didn't get any of that. I didn't get nothing. It was all political issues with both labels. So I go on the road with Buckshot LaFunk, Branford Marcellus, and give the group a couple of hits. I'm the out front singer, led to my deal with Columbia. And in 98, I record this great record, Love Stories. It sat on the shelf all in 99 while I'm touring with Frankie Beverly and then Shaka Khan all that year. And finally, I just said, I can't do this no more. So I can't be an artist playing for somebody else, watching them do what it is that I've always wanted to do from the time I was 3 years old, literally. Yeah. So it was me, Branford, and Tammy McCrary at the time. It was Shaka's sister. We went in and we told Columbia we wanted this record released. And they released the record and they said, well, we're going to put out 25,000 copies. If it takes off, fine. If it doesn't, oh well. But like I say in all my interviews, how do you give birth to a child and tell it to raise itself? It's going to die. It's going to die.
Exactly.
Yeah. Child's going to die. It's not going to have a chance to live. So I figured, well, at least I got the record out. And people are still talking about that record, Love Stories, 21 years later.
Yeah, it's a beautiful record. Yeah.
21 years later. That record turned 21 in March of this year. 21 years, people still talking about it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was able to get out of that situation because I just kept bugging the president of Columbia Jazz. I just kept calling his office and bugging him and bugging him and bugging him. And finally his secretary was like, well, he doesn't know who you are. And I said, okay, I'll take that as a sign that I can walk. If you don't know who you got signed over here, then I can walk. So they drew up my papers and I was gone. So by the grace of God, that's how I got out of Columbia Records.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's when I hooked up with the indie label. And then when I hooked up with the indie label, they thought they had a modern day Slave. We recorded the album, The Truth Volume 1. It was never supposed to be a Truth Volume 2, Truth Volume anything. The Truth was it was originally called The Storyteller. That was going to be the name of the album. But when things went haywire between me and my management and the label, well, I won't say my management. Let me change that. Let me start changing that in press. Their manager, because they seem to rep them more.
Right. It was working for them.
So, yeah. So let's change that. When things went awry with their manager and the label, the label and their manager, I just figured, okay, let me fulfill my obligation and shut this thing down. No album can exist if the artist doesn't support it.
Yeah.
So what I ended up getting to that point once we got to England. Here's what happened. How much time we got?
Man, we got plenty of time.
I'll make it short. I'll make it short.
As much as you want.
I'll make it short. So what happened was after we recorded the album, The Truth, and all of the havoc that went down, I said, I'm going to change. The Storyteller, that is. I said, I'm going to change the title from The Storyteller to The Truth, because eventually I'm going to have a voice to tell people what really went down with this record. I'm going to be able to give the truth and tell everybody, but they were so stupid. One guy was English and the other guy was Jamaican. They were partners, right, for this label. Oh, man, that's a great idea, man. Great. The Truth. Oh, man, Frank's The Truth. I'm like, if you only knew. If you only knew, right? I named this album because of you, The Truth.
Wow.
So we now we get ready to go over to England. Now, mind you, we going over to this guy's hometown for what was supposed to be the first set of dates, but I ended up eventually shutting it down because I wouldn't support it. And they said, we're going to take a whole LA-based band over there. I said, don't do that. You're about to lose a lot of money. Don't do that. I've already established myself in London. Now, mind you, I book all my own concerts. I book all my own tours. Literally, I do it myself. Until the right booking agency comes and says we want to book Frank McComb, I'll keep doing it myself. Since age 17, I'll be 51 this year, and I book every single show. So from local gigs in Cleveland to Italy next month, literally. So
you book all your gigs?
I do everything. Make my own records, mix and master them, sell them directly to the people. I am the support system. This is it.
That's crazy in itself, man.
Me, my wife, and the buying public. Now I've got friends I can call on that can get things done and help me out when I need help in certain areas. They'll bring dates to me and I'll say, okay, let me put it together, yada, 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 the whole nine. You know, I literally rep Frank McComb as a manager. Somebody comes to me with a date, I say, okay, you get your percentage and just put it together. But as far as like a company saying, Frank, we have a tour book for you, and you're yada, there's not one organization supporting Frank McComb. No record company, no booking agency, no management. It is all me. And whoever I call on to give me the help I need to get things done.
That's the way to go, man. That is the way to go.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But you know what? I'm anointed for it. I was built for it. God knew this was going to be my plan and my path until things change. So I don't mind doing it. And I go where people want to hear me. I've been to the cracks and crevices of Europe where mainstream recording artists won't go because their managers feel there's no money in that little country over there because they want their 20%.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna deal with that. And I will go to those little places, man, those far away little countries and towns. Oh, yeah.
That's right.
I'm spending my birthday in Italy this year. Oh, yeah. July 15th is going to be right there in Italy.
Nice.
So this will be my third time, I think. But yeah, so we get over to, and I tell them, I said, look, man, we don't need to take no band over to the UK. I've already established myself there. You know, no, we're going to go. Now, mind you, the English guy that was the head of this company, the one half of this company was English. He's a drummer, but he wasn't a good enough drummer to handle the music from Love Stories. So everything from the Truth everything from the Truth. Oh, he had that down because he played on a lot of that and produced it the whole nine. But anyway, we take this big band because here comes the label muscling me. And here comes the management rather muscling me. Oh, you should do this. You need to do this because it's a good break for you. So we take this whole big old unit to Birmingham, England. It was the Birmingham Weekender was the name of the festival. And Cy Smith was backing vocalist on this with me. I took her with me. She was there when all this went down. We get over there and I open for Incognito. Now I'm finished. Incognito's doing that thing and I'm in a room with about 150 people. And I'm signing autographs. That's how big this festival was. When you got like 150 people, that fills a venue by itself. That's how big this festival was. So I'm signing an autographs. About 20 people came up to me with this thing called the Motown Sessions, Frank McComb. And when I looked at the track listing, I knew who did it. It was the same guy that was playing drums with me on this gig. He was the producer of that record in 95. So he was backdooring me. We're pushing the current record, The Truth. And this guy that made copies from the master tapes of this CD, right? And they were all green on the back, CDRs. Wasn't mixed, wasn't mastered, no artwork, just Frank McComb, the Motown Sessions, and everybody's on this record. Harvey Mason, Billy Preston, Branford Marcellus, Tony Maiden from Rufus, Bobby Watson, bassist from Rufus, Doc Powell, and the strings were done by Claire Fish, and the drums, and the horns by Jerry Hay. So it was all-star cast on this record.
Man,
all-star cast.
Loaded.
Yeah, 25 pounds. Each person told me that they paid roughly about 25 pounds. That was $50 US at the time. That's what he was getting for my work. Yeah.
Oh, so my God.
Oh, man. I wanted to choke him. He was right there. And I said, you know what? Oh, but another thing that gave him away was the fact that not only was it the track listing from all the songs that I did for that record in 95, but it was 2 more songs that I had demoed for him to help him get a publishing deal. He added those to it. Yeah, added those to the track list. Yeah. Now, mind you, okay, I know somebody out there's probably saying, well, how did he get to keep the masters? Well, when you're 22, 23 years old, leaving a label, you ain't got no money to go and get no attorney. And try to get your masters back. You don't have that. You know. And then I was just starting a family too, because my wife was pregnant with my daughter in 95. So I'm pulling her down to the studio with me. She big. I'm like looking at my family. I'm not thinking about this. As far as I'm concerned, this is behind me now. I got to get on to the next thing because I got this family I'm about to start, And he was backdooring me. So that's when I went home and I took 12 songs out of my studio. And I called my studio my vault at the time. And I put them on a CDR just like he did. And I burned them in a laptop one at a time. And I just wrote on top of each CD, Frank McComb, straight from the vault with a black Sharpie. And I went to Cleveland, my hometown, told my story, same story I just told you. And I had a bunch of them in a duffel bag, sold the whole duffel bag. So the money I made from selling CDs, I put into making more CDs. And the money I made from the show, I took care of my family with it. And that's how I was able to start my little independent empire. So people started asking me, what are you going to do with this Motown thing that's floating around? So I ordered a copy anonymously from him. And I put some integrity with it, you know, and I created a cover, and there's a white piece of paper with a skinny leg inside of a construction boot. So at the time I started working with Prince. We're talking 04, 05, something like that. And my wife and I are hand packaging the CDs right there in a rehearsal with Prince in a place called Center Staging in Burbank, California. I took my printer, my CD burner, and all of my supplies, the CDRs, the cases, everything, and set it up in Prince's office because we had one of the big rooms, and the big rooms have little offices in them, right? My wife and I set that stuff up right there on the counter in his office. I didn't care.
Man, that is a lot of work.
Plug that stuff up. And while I'm rehearsing with Prince and the band, she's in there packaging CDs. Yeah, right. So when we take a break, I go in the room with her, packaging CDs, man. And then Prince comes into the room and he looks and he says, "What are you guys doing?" That's what he said. "What are you guys doing?" And he's looking like, okay. All right. I said, "Man, I'm running the family business." I said, "I got to get these CDs out, man. I got to make this money and I got to get this music out. I can't deal with these labels, man. They don't get it." And we sat down, had a good conversation about it. Then he said, "Bring these up to the house. I'm gonna play them, listen to them at the house," because we had a house party that night. And finally, he broke down that night and asked me, "What does this cover mean?" And I said, "Well, the construction boot represents the fact that the man is working hard, and the skinny leg represents the fact that he's starving from his work. He ain't getting paid." Yeah. And it just blew Prince's mind. He screamed, man. And that's when he told me, if you're gonna go independent, go all the way with it. Go all the way. Brand yourself and be your own artist and put your music out, because every dime that you get from selling a record is the money that a record label would get. You wouldn't get that. So sell your music directly to the people and take that money home and take care of your family, but keep giving them good stuff. Give them what they want, man. You know, and that's what really gave me the confirmation to get on my independent journey. And I've been independent now since 2004. And I'm still going. So when COVID hit, I had already been living like it was COVID.
Yeah, I hear you.
I own my stuff.
I know that's right. For real.
I own my stuff. It's all I knew. I came into the game as a mainstream artist. I didn't get in the game as an indie artist. I came in as a mainstream recording artist, and they didn't know what to do with a guy who, as the public says, sing like Stevie Wonder and Donny Hathaway, but play piano reminiscent to Herbie Hancock, George Duke, and Chick Corea. Now, I'm not nearly on their level as a piano player, but people say they can hear the influence.
Yeah.
So what do you do with a guy who does all of that? You put him on the road, and I'm not racist, but I'm just calling it like it is. You put him on the road like you do the white acts. You give him a band, give him a bus, get him on a plane, and get him around the world. You get him a booking agency and put him on the road. Find out where he is, you know, and pick him up from there. Musically, artistically, get him on TV, get him on the radio.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Yeah, no different than what you would people that are less talented. We won't go there, but yeah.
Wow.
So just keeping it real, but they did not do that. So I had to do it for myself.
They dropped the ball. Would you say Prince is the biggest influence in your career?
I had a few of them. Prince, I would have to say Prince was one. Steve McKeever is a big influence. Branford Marsalis, big influence. These three guys were big influences. George Duke, big influence. Yeah, I would have to say big influence. I mean, well, Benson too, because George and I've known Benson since I was 17. We've been friends about 33 years. Crazy, and he just always saw me as this kid coming up. You know, he just always saw me as family. We never worked together, but sometimes you don't force some issues because it could change your relationship. I never forced the issue to work with George. Never. And I mean, I've known George longer than I've known any celebrity. You know, I met Herbie around that same time, but I never got to jail with Herbie. You know, I met I had a phone friendship with Patrice Rushen at 17, 18. She'll tell you too, because I used to call her and play her keyboard solos over the phone back to her. I was just a kid, you know. Crazy. And she would sit there listening, because not knowing at the time that she was an educator. So she was very patient with me. And then when I finally got to LA and met her, she just gave me the biggest hug, you know,
Man, that
the
is so
biggest hug.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tina Marie. I met Tina Marie when I lived in Philly. I left Cleveland September of 91 and moved to Philadelphia. And I stayed in Philly till November 9th, 1992. But I remember talking to Tina Marie over the phone. It was the late Doug Grisby. We just lost Doug. We
Okay.
lost Doug Grisby. We lost him this year. He's a great bass player. He was a musical director at the time, and he was working on some recordings for her in Philadelphia in the studio while she was in LA.
Okay.
And I just happened to be in the studio with Doug, and he had to call Tina. And he put Tina on the speaker. We got to talking, and Tina said, "If you ever make your way to LA and need a job, I got you." Well, I ended up moving to LA November 9th, 92 on a deal with Motown. And it's mighty crazy how things work because she was with Motown. She was on a Gordy label. Well, I got to Motown and, you know, a couple years go by, things go sour and bam, it hit me. Okay, I got this family to take care of and I got to start working. So I called Tina. I got in touch with Doug. Doug gave me Tina's number. I called Tina and she immediately booked me for the Reseda Country Club for New Year's. It was New Year's 92 going into 93. Yeah, that's when I met.
Crazy.
Actually did. Yeah. Yeah, or was it 93? I think 93 going into 94. I think it was 93 going into 94 is what it was. Yep, Tina Marie, and I played on one or two of her records. Wow. Yeah, so I have been blessed, man. I've been fortunate, but I would have to say blessed.
Yeah,
to have the career that I've had, and I'm 50, but I could tell you stories, man, from when I was younger, as though I was 70.
Yeah, I hear. Now you also did work with Huff and Gamble, or
yeah, I worked for Gamble and Huff when I was in Philly. During the time I was in Philly, I did session work for them. I played on some stuff for Phyllis Hyman. I played on some stuff for the OJs. I remember hanging out with Mr. Gamble. We went down into the basement of Philly International, which is really sad to say that it's gone now, but they had to do what they had to do.
Yeah.
You know, and whatever that was.
Yeah, I've been there.
But it hurt me so bad to go back and see that empty lot. I stood there and cried because that's where my beginning was for me.
Yeah. Was that Broad Street?
Yeah, on the corner of Broad and Spruce.
Yep.
Yeah. I lived on the next corner, 13th and Spruce.
Oh, wow,
I would just walk to work every day. So, Mr. Campbell, I remember we went down into the basement. He invited me to go down to the basement with him of Philly International because he was looking for some tapes. And I saw these boxes of unreleased records for Philly International. And you know how they had the Motown review?
Yeah.
And it would be like, it was live records of all of the artists at the time that were touring. And, you know, they will all be on the road, the chilling circuit, whatever. Gamble Huff obviously did the same thing because I found a couple of records down there where it was Lil J's and Lou Rawls and Billy Paul, where they were on the road, but they were never released. So somebody's got them, because here's what happened. Mr. Gamble told me to help myself to the stuff. I got like one or two of everything, and I was carrying it down to my apartment down the street, and I was carrying it by hand. And I was like, man, nobody's got this. Nobody's got this. Man, fast forward to moving to LA and having a family. Brother had to eat. I sold all that stuff to a record store. I had to eat. I had to feed
Oh my God.
So somebody out there got those records, and they got them because of my hunger.
Wish it was me. Wow. Good grief.
Dude, Kim Fields told me when I was 38 to write a book. I said, I can't write no book. I ain't even 50 yet. Now I'm 51 and I'll be 51 this year and ain't started on it yet.
Hey, the story is still being told, man.
And back then, from 38 to 50, so much has happened. You know, man, that book would have been just a waste of paper.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Your advice for all the people that, you know, that wants to branch out to be an indie artist and do what you do, be able to do it all, manage your own self, put out your own records, write your own stuff. What advice do you have for them?
Learn every job in the business. Yep. Learn every job in this game. Learn every job. Don't take things personal, because I learned from Benson. Benson said it never stops. It's mess on every level. Yeah. It's mess on every level. You're going to get it. It doesn't stop. Learn every job you can. If I don't say it enough, learn every job you can in this game, because when you have a team and you fall out with somebody in that team, they can go ahead on and you just roll your sleeves up and get back into it and keep your train going.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you got to do that. And you cut out a lot of mess. Don't be a control freak just because you know every job too. Don't be a control freak because then you'll be hovering over everybody and not trusting that they could get the job done.
Sure, right.
I've been in situations where I had to be healed of that, of hovering over people. I had to be healed of it because other people can cost you money.
Yeah.
Messing up jobs for you, you know, and then they going on about their business and you stuck trying to clean up where they messed up. They messed up in your life. But you know, that's what I say about a lot of these labels too, not to slam the labels. You know, there's somebody out there who will get me. And when they get me, they can reach out to me and we can do business and I'll make you a lot of money and I'm making myself a whole lot more money. But the thing is, man, I've been with situations where they get their check every 2 weeks, you know, and they're working for a job. They're working a job for a label rather that's paying them every 2 weeks. But this is my livelihood. This ain't no damn hobby. This is my living.
Yeah, for real.
And you coming here telling me what you think I should do with my living.
Yeah.
And while you getting your check every 2 weeks, this is how I eat. So I'm listening to you, and my life is being messed up behind you. And you going on about your business, getting your check every 2 weeks, but I got to clean up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all follow what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So you got to be really careful who you let in your circle and who you give control to, who you give that freedom to, because I'm telling you, they can misrepresent you and still be getting paid somewhere else, and you got to clean up where they messed up.
Man, good grief.
You know, I was with a publishing company. I won't say their names. I was with a publishing company that just did not put me with people to write songs because, you know, publishing, that's ownership of songs, you know. And I was signed to a publishing company for 20 years at least, and they never put me with people, with hit writers, to write hits with other people. And because they didn't understand, or just didn't, I won't say understand, because they didn't know what to do with a guy, a soul jazz recording artist, a soul jazz writer, they put the word out on me that I was difficult. They said Frank McComb was difficult to work with because they don't want to take the blame for not knowing what to do with a guy like me. But I'm so versatile. I'm so versatile. I've worked with Jeff and Will, Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince. I've worked with Fred Hammond, John P. Key. I work with these people. And I mean, we're talking rap to gospel. I work with Levert. I work with the Rude Boys, you know. I played for Philip Bailey. I worked for Tina Marie. So these are different styles of music. These are different genres. And you don't know what to do with a guy who's versatile? No, Frank, but see, the person that repped me at the label, at the publishing company, really did not dig what I did. So I believe my deal was done out of politics. It wasn't even done based on what I wrote. So politics that's been a demon that's followed me for years, man. Even back in high school. I mean, just politics followed me for years. Yeah. So they never paired me with other big name writers. They always paired me with people that would just come in just to give me something to do, keep me busy. I mean, it was to the point where I would set up a meeting with the person who repped me, right, for this publishing company. And this person would take my meetings when they got around to it. And I would go and meet with the person, and we'll start out with having a lunch meeting. We'll start out at lunch, right? And then to buy time for this person, or they basically use me to stay out of the office for another extra hour or so. Because we're walking down Melrose while she's looking at shoes. And I'm like, I got to get back. And this person happened to be my ride for the lunch. I would meet them at the office and they say, come on, let's get out and we'll go sit down and have lunch and such. I know a spot, just ride with me. And I get in the car and we go and have lunch. And after lunch, we're walking down Melrose while they looking at shoes. And I'm like, you know what? Is this what I'm worth to you? So yeah, man, I'm telling you, I can write a book. I never say names because I don't believe in exploiting people. You don't do that. Yeah. It's a testimony. I use it as a testimony to share my story with people so that you don't go through what I went through.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's been my thing, man. So yeah, I would tell these people, learn every aspect of the game that you can and keep your publishing unless somebody comes and offers you a stupid amount of money to split ownership of your publishing with you, something that you cannot refuse. But make sure, as Prince said, it's an agreement and you know what you're getting into. And not a contract. Have your Harriet Tubman escape route.
I know that's
It
right.
is a contract.
Right.
That is what was taught to me. My
Yeah.
purse.
Wow.
Man, you know, Frank, I mean, with all that experience, man, what's next? What is next for Frank McComb? What's the next chapter?
Honestly, I'm just taking it one day at a time, especially after COVID, one day at a time. What comes in is what get worked. And actually, I don't even know how to say this without it sounding bad, but I don't hear another album. Right now, I don't. I might just put out some singles and just kind of play around in the business. I'm about to head out of here. I'm going to be gone for pretty much the month of July. I just booked like just all that I could for the month of July, starting in South Carolina, the 3rd, the 5th. And then from there, I'm headed to Lake Arbor because I got some things to do during the week with Lake Arbor. I'm going to be moving around a lot. And then sitting with Najee on his set on the 10th at Lake Arbor. And the 11th or the 12th, I'll fly from the DC area to Italy. I'll be there for about 6 days. And then from Italy, I fly into Atlanta to play St. James Live on the 22nd. And then I come home and sleep like a bear for about a week and a half.
I know that's right. Wow.
Yeah. So that's what I got. That's what I have going so far. And then basically when it comes down to the music, it's really me and my son. Whatever he wants me to do for him, Skinny Kid Frank got me playing on some of everything he's working on. And he's
Skinny Kid Frank. Yeah.
Skinny Kid Frank. That's my boy. Yeah, that is my dude. So I'm just playing on a bunch of stuff for him. He's got these great ideas, man. So I just been playing on his stuff. And if all goes well, I'll be doing a duet with Take 6, produced by Skinny Kid Frank and myself.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I'm working on something with him. And we'll see. We're trying to make that work. We're trying to make it work with everybody being in different places, but we're trying to make that thing work. Just trying to enjoy life and live every single day that God intended for me to live. That's where I'm at, one day at a time.
I got to ask you this question. This is for me.
Of course.
Do you ever get discouraged? A guy with your musical prowess, your musical ability, I mean, it's off the charts. Do you ever get discouraged knowing that you have this ability and seeing what's out there now? Do you ever get discouraged from that?
I have my days. I have my days where I say to myself, where does the doctor go when he gets sick? Where does the dentist go when he got a bad tooth? Where does the attorney go? What do I do in times like this where I'm just looking at how things are running in this business of music and the politics, and I have my days of saying to myself, I got all this talent. What in the world? But then I have to stop and check myself, and I have to look at the cup half full, not half empty, and say, man, you own your masters. There are cats out there that wish they can get their masters. You can manipulate your stuff. You build your own content. And always remember that there's somebody out there that wish they were in your position that can't get to where you are. And I have to remember these things and say these things to myself. And then first and foremost, who am I doing it for? I'm doing it for the one that made me. And I fear no man. I'm doing this for Christ. I'm doing this for the one who actually loaned me the gift. And I want to do right by it. So that's what keeps me in check. Then I look at my son and I'm like, man, dang, you played basketball. You got trophies from track. We're talking weightlifting, gym. I mean, my son is skinny, but he's like a little ant. Talking about a man who can lift 3.5 times his weight easy, like it's nothing. Yeah, my son's skinny, but he's strong. Real strong. Yeah. So daddy got to stay in shape.
No, that's right.
But you know what? We never had him fallouts though. Not me and my boy. He's like, sometimes my son is my son, and sometimes he's like my little brother, but always father in the first forefront,
Yes, sir.
But that's my dude, man. And my daughter is my heart. That's my road dog right there. My daughter, she lives in Vegas. And that's my firstborn. Shoot, man. Yeah. But they inspire me, they really inspire me. They're in a good they're really in great positions in their lives because their mama whooped them. Always trying to get it in their head. I ain't whooped nothing. My wife, man, Nisa would be so mad at me. She say, boy, how come you don't whoop them? say, because, I got whoopers all the time. Well, you turned out all right. I tell her, well, I try to get in their heads, She said, I'm gonna beat them. And my wife, I thought she was gonna whoop me. I'll tell you, she did all the whooping. I get their head, I say, come on now, we're gonna go sit down and talk, and you're gonna tell me what's going on with you before your mama get to you. That's how it always was,
Right.
And now, but you know what? To this day, they'll be like, hey, you got a few minutes, I got to talk to you.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, so it worked. So it was a good balance, a good guy and bad guy. But I would tell you, man, they have both challenged us to where, you really got to do something bad for me to pull out a belt.
Yeah.
I swear,
Yeah,
you
I
had
agree.
to do something real
Yeah.
bad. And they've had those times, man, with me and Mama tag team, boy. WWF up in that mud. World Wrestling Federation. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Boy, I tell you.
Oh,
Yeah, man. I tell you.
Man,
boy,
Frank,
kids crazy.
Man, how can people get in, book you or get in touch? How can they find you?
Well, my Instagram is Frank McComb. I'm on Facebook, Booby Scoot, which is my little label. B is spelled, it sounds exactly the way it's spelled. Booby Scoot, BOOBEESCOOT, Booby Scoot. That's my little label. Facebook.com/Booby Scoot. My fan page is Frank McComb Fans. My Twitter is at Mr. Frank McComb. Those are the only things I really have time to keep up with. You can get music. All my music is available on all of the digital platforms. But I tell people all the time to go to my Bandcamp and support there. Now, when you download your music or download my music rather on your iTunes and different places, or I said iTunes, Apple Music, sorry.
yeah.
When you download, I'm still saying records.
Wow, yeah, me too.
So when you download your music there, you get your music right away, but the artist doesn't see the proceeds for another 3 months or so.
That's
But
Bandcamp.
But you go to my Bandcamp. That's right. FrankMcComb.bandcamp, BANDCAMP, FrankMcComb.bandcamp.com. And you get your music right away. And I see them tithes and offerings hitting my offering basket.
I know that's right. Yes, sir.
In 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days.
Yeah.
Yes. Amen. God bless you. Yes.
Cool. I just downloaded that app.
Oh yeah, man,
Yeah.
it works, man. I love Bandcamp. This is good. I will encourage all artists to download Bandcamp, set up a Bandcamp page, and send that link out to people to download your music from there. CD Baby as well. People can go to cdbaby.com and find all my music there as well. Let me see. To book me, that's easy. Send an email to FM, my initials, Frank McComb, FM Concerts with an S, fmconcerts@gmail.com. And I will work out a deal with you. And I'm going to tell you, if the deal doesn't work out, it ain't my fault, because I'm going to make it as easy for you as possible to book me. fmconcerts@gmail. Do not write me for nothing else at that email, because you will not get a reply. But you send an email for bookings at fmconcerts@gmail.com. And I guarantee you, we can get a show booked.
Beautiful.
Man.
Beautiful.
Man, make sure y'all do that.
Yes, sir.
Frank, it's been an honor, bro.
Oh, man.
It
Thank you.
It has.
Likewise, man. You guys are cool, man. I got to call Najee and thank him for this interview. That's my man. That's my man. Yeah, man. That's my
Frank,
dude.
Man,
man.
play us a little something, sing us a little something, man. Like, give us just a little taste, bro.
Man, let's see.
While we close this out.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Gotta find a way. Oh, wait, I got to get my Luther on. I got to get my Luther. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got to get my Luther on, man. Yeah. Gotta find a way to her heart. Do the best I can to impress this girl. Find my way to her heart, yeah. 'Cause I really love her, yeah.
Frank McComb!
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You guys are funny.
Oh, man. Thank you so much, Frank.
Thank you, bro.
Oh,
Thank you, man.
Oh, thank you guys, man. You guys are awesome.
Hey,
Okay,
man,
I can turn my loof off now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I turn my loof back off. Had to get my loof on.
love to you, Frank. Much love to you, man.
Oh, thank you, man. Likewise, brothers.
Thank you so much for this. And man, we want whenever you're in the Chicago area, man, we gotta look us up, man. We gotta
Oh, dude, y'all find me a spot, man. I hit Reggie's quite a few times. Reggie's down there on South Street, that little rock spot. I love that little spot.
Oh, cool.
But then there was the promontory. I think the promontory was the last place I played in Chicago. I need to get back over there. But y'all find me some spots and hit me up.
We
Let's
will.
make it work.
We sure will.
Yep.
You know, you talking to the booking agent, and I got a band there. I got a cold band in Chicago.
Cool.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah, I got a cold. You know, that place is crawling with great musicians.
Yeah,
so I got a cold band sitting there. So yeah, let's do it, man. Let's make it happen.
We're gonna make it happen. Frank, thank you so much again. Thank everybody for tuning in.
Yeah.
That's all I got, man.
Hey, this is a great show. Peace out, y'all. Thank you, Frank.
All good, fellas.
Talk to you soon, man.
All right, man. Y'all be cool.
All right.
I'm out of here, baby.